Hey everybody, Decent Eddie here. It's Tuesday, June 17, 2025. My NBA confident picks right now are hitting 81% this season, and my WNBA confident picks are at 79%. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for daily picks before tip-off on the day of the game, and remember, always check matchup news and injury reports. Data only tells you part of the story. My goal is to help you make more informed and statistically grounded decisions. While my data set focuses on moneyline picks, my analysis may also be useful for spread and over-under bets. It's going to be a weird one today, but let's get on with today's games. Dream versus Liberty is first. Liberty get a decent Eddie confident pick with a 3.3 differential, so about an 80% chance to win. Sportsbooks have Liberty as 8-point favorites and are implying a 79% chance to win. This is a pivotal Eastern Conference clash, with Atlanta coming in hot. When in 7 of the last 9, the Dream just dominated Washington 89-56, hitting 18 threes, exploding for 32 points. That was Alicia Gray. Atlanta's defense is astonishing, giving up just 75.6 points a game. The Liberty just took their first loss, 102-88 to Indiana. New York gave up 17 threes in that one. Still, the Liberty are 9-1 and boast the WNBA's most explosive offense and equally powerful defense. They also lead the league in threes. That's a big deal. This is the clash of the Titans all the way around. My number says Liberty. Books say Liberty as well. I have to take Liberty on the money line because of the data, regardless of the value there. I do think Dream can cover that spread, though. The over-under is 162.5 points last time I looked, and I lean towards the over there. Next, it's Sun versus Fever. Fever get a powerful, decent Eddie confident pick with a 6.067 differential, and that's a big chance for them to win. Books are marking Fever as 18-point favorites, and there's an implied win percentage of 97% by the books. The Fever are coming in off of a huge 102-88 win over the Liberty. They snapped New York's 9-game winning streak. Caitlin Clark returned from a quad strain. She dropped 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 7 threes. That was a monster game. Kelsey Mitchell, you know, that's a pretty simple name. There's nothing complicated about Mitchell. I've got cousins. Their last name is Mitchell. There's a movie named Mitchell. Pretty funny, kind of ridiculous, but Joe Don Baker's in it, rest in peace. Anyway, back to the game. Kelsey Mitchell also had 22 points in that game versus the Liberty. Indiana's offense ranks in the top 3 of my data set, and their defense is in the top quarter. On the other side, the Sun are struggling, losing 78-66 to the Sky in the last outing, making it their second straight loss. 6 of their 8 losses have been by double digits. Marina Mabry led them with 22 points, but consistency. You got to have consistency, and that's been an issue. Connecticut are next to last in all of my offensive metrics and last in all of my defensive metrics. I've got to take Fever on the money line. Like I said, the value is garbage, but I've got to take it just for the principle of my data. Can Fever cover an 18-point spread? Sure, they can, but that is a pretty big spread. I don't know if I'm touching it, but I might change my feeling about that. I've read an awful lot on this game. Maybe you should do your own reading and find out. I'm really kind of a coin toss on the spread. Right now, the over is 167. All things considered, I am probably going to take the over. Aces versus Lynx is next. Lynx got a decent Eddie confident pick with a 4.043 differential, equating a 77% chance for the Lynx to win by my data. Sportsbooks have Lynx as 13-point favorites, and there's an implied win probability of 90%. The books like them better than I do, but still pretty good, right? The Aces are struggling, and that's why. They've lost 3 of their last 4, including a 76-70 defeat to the Phoenix Mercury in their last outing. Vegas's offense is on the bad side of mediocre, and their defense is probably just as bad. They've also been playing without their number 1 scorer and rebounder, who is listed as day-to-day for this game, and they've got other injuries hanging over their head too. The Lynx, on the other hand, are absolutely hot, sitting at 10-1 after routing the Sparks 101-78. They are a half game ahead of the Liberty for the league's top spot. The Lynx offense and shooting, that's white hot, right up there with Liberty's, arguably better than the Liberty's if you look at it close enough. Their defense is also pretty formidable, ranking in the top 3rd of my defensive metrics. This is a tough road test for the Aces. My number says Lynx. Books say Lynx. I'm going with Lynx on the money line because my data says so. The 13-point spread is something I feel Lynx could cover. The over-under last I saw was 161.5, but that seems to be changing pretty regular. I am looking hard at the over there. Mystics versus Sky is up, and it's the Mystics that get a decent Eddie confident pick with the 2.3 differential and a 78% chance to win. The books have Mystics with a 66% chance to win and are 5-point favorites. The Mystics are coming off a brutal 89-56 loss to the Dream, shooting a dismal 29.5% from the field. Their offense is struggling, and holding onto the ball is a hazy mystery to them. Skies is their leading scorer at 19.4 points a game. The Sky just broke a 3-game losing streak with a 78-66 win over the Sun, fueled by Angel Reese's first career triple-double. Very nice, congratulations. However, the Sky's offense is atrocious. They're the worst at my offensive metrics, and their defense is only barely better. They've also lost Courtney Vandersloot for the season. That's a big deal. This looks like a battle of two struggling teams, kind of like Garbage Bowl or whatever. My data says Mystics. Books say Mystics. I'm taking Mystics on the money line. Mystics covering the spread is tricky. I want to believe they can, but I'm not sure they can. You may want to do a little reading on your own to see how you feel about it, but I'm leaning Mystics against the spread if I do go that way. The under, if it stays at 155.5, I'm taking the under. Valkyries versus Wings. Valkyries got a decent Eddie confident pick with a 2.166 differential and a 78% chance to win by my data. The books have Wings as 3.5-point favorites and are giving the Wings a win probability of 61%. Why? Well, Valkyries are missing 4 of their best players right now. That's something data cannot account for. But this is where it gets really kind of tricky and interesting, folks. The sportsbooks have the Dallas Wings as slight favorites, but my numbers and the latest news tell a different story. The Dallas Wings are truly limping into this one at 1-11 on a 7-game skid and absolutely decimated with injuries. 4 major players are all out. This is the team whose morale is low anyway and just blew an 11-point lead in their last game. The Valkyries are riding a 3-game winning streak. More importantly, they've shown a consistent ability to win outright as underdogs, going 5-5 straight up in those spots this season. They've found their rhythm, especially defensively, despite any earlier personnel concerns. With Dallas also shorthanded, but also struggling on top of that, and Golden State finding their stride and showing a real knack for upset wins as underdogs, I see a tremendous value here. My data says Valkyries, so I'm taking the money line pick with Golden State for the outright win. The over-under right now is 163.5, and I may consider the under with both teams missing so many players. Against the spread, with all those players missing, yes, Valkyries still. I think it's possible for Golden State to cover. It's a weird game, though. Last game, it's Storm versus Sparks. Storm got a danger pick here with a 1.233 differential. That's literally a 50% chance to win by my data. It's pretty spooky, friends. The sportsbooks have loads more confidence than I do. They have Storm as 8-point favorites and are implying an 81% chance to win for the Storm. But in fairness, Sparks are getting a bump for being at home in my data, which closes up my differential some. That's why the 50%. The Storm are looking to bounce back after a 76-70 loss to Golden State. Seattle's position in my offensive metrics are hovering in the middle. Their defense is slightly worse than average, generally speaking. The Sparks are on a 3-game home losing streak, most recently falling 101-78 to the Lynx. Los Angeles offense is actually not terrible in my data set, but the defense is pretty woeful. Honestly, this game could be a slog. But as I look over both teams across the data matrix, Storm is better at more than Sparks. My data says Storm. Books are saying Storm. I'm taking Storm on the money line against the spread. I'd take Sparks at 8 points. The over-under is showing 155. If it stays there, I'd take the over. So here's your quick recap. We've got decent Eddie confident picks all around here. Valkyries, Mystics, Lynx, Fever, Liberty. We don't have any suboptimal picks, and danger moneyline picks. We got Storm. For parlays, I do like to include confident picks and parlays, and we've got plenty here. Just for an example, if we take Fever and Lynx in a 2-leg parlay, my data shows your win probability at 58%. The sportsbook data shows that 2-leg at 87%. Okay, it's both above 50%. If you want to add a 3rd leg, Liberty, for example, that win probability by sportsbook data is 68%. My data says 46%, which is kind of icky to me. But again, remember, not a lot of games in that one data set. So, that number could actually be deflated. Just keep that in mind. I will always be okay, though, with a 3-leg parlay with odds ranging between -400 to -450. If you do that, your win probability remains above 50%, which is cool. Regardless of what you choose, I never recommend more than a 3-leg parlay due to the risks of combined probabilities. And remember, don't spend more than 10% of your bankroll in total across all your wagers in a day. Never chase losses, and if you need help with a gambling problem, check out my channel's description. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, tap the bell to get my picks before tip-off on the day of the game. About 60% of my viewers aren't subscribers. It would be awesome if you could join us. Drop a comment if you like. I respond to everybody. I'd love to hear what you have to say, even if it's not positive. I don't care. Basketball is not my gig. I'm just running numbers here. NFL, that's my gig. We'll get into arguments there for sure. But anyway, follow me on Decent Eddie Picks if you like. Facebook, X, Decent Eddie Picks, spelled P-I-X. You can find me on TikTok, decent.eddies.picks. Sometimes I post some team grades there, some last-minute thoughts or end-game thoughts if I have them. But let's see what happens tonight. We got a lot of games. This is going to be a weird one. It'll be fun to watch just to kind of see what happens because there is weirdness in all of this. Well, not all of it, but at least 2/3 of it, right? This is Decent Eddie signing off. Have an awesome day.